What is the meaning of تجري من تحت الأنهار حضور? It's always mentioned
Yes.
everywhere in the paradise.
It is-
تجري الأنهار.
The water stands for life, and if life flows eternally, then the things which grow on life can never die. So there's always one climate, one weather, and that is the spring. See? So this means that constantly all the provisions to support life, the spiritual life of course, will flow next door, not only next door, down underneath their feet. They don't have to go outside to get that. That's the meaning, of course. This reminds me of that tradition which speaks of Hadhrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grand spiritual experience, which was never shared by any other prophet of God. That is Al-Miraj. We read the account of Miraj, what happened in Bukhari and in some other books of tradition. And one thing which is mentioned, as far as I remember in Bukhari, in the detailed account, it is said that as Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallam was ascending to heaven, going closer to God, he saw an old hag, a woman in very advanced age, very ugly looking and repulsive thing, appear to him and offer him 3 glasses. One glass was full of water, the other was full of milk, and the third was full of wine. So, from this again I infer that in the otherworldly things, these are just symbols. Now, Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam decided to accept milk and rejected water as well as the wine. And he accepted the milk. Now, this again is a symbolic language. And the things which I infer from that I am going to explain also in relation to my concept of Jannah, which I have drawn from the Holy Quran. First of all, those people who insist that it was a physical, bodily journey to somewhere where God was, it is impossible because God was everywhere. It's not some place, part where God is, where He lives. He's everywhere. So the journey has to be spiritual. Now the proof is that when Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah did that, the Hazrat Jibreel salam told him, you have done the best thing, the right thing. This woman you see is the world. At that time, the wives of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah, the holy wives were there in Medina, or Mecca it was perhaps, yes, it was Mecca, not Medina, definitely Mecca. This is an early vision of Muhammad Rasulullah, because he was near to the Hatim. When the narrators tell us he opened his eyes. The narrators don't say he returned from the heaven, they say then he opened his eyes, he awakened. Istaqaza is the expression used. Huh?
Yes,
Fastaqazan. But leaving that alone, what I want to draw your attention to is this, that woman was told by Hazrat Jibreel to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be the entire world. Now, was there no world left here on earth? Where did this globe disappear? Did it become a one woman? And one old woman for that matter? Obviously, they are symbols. So when God proves that in His information to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in His guidance, why should we insist that they have to be interpreted literally and materially, while we can prove it from the experiences of Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that these things are not to be taken literally. Secondly, they insist that if we take it literally, that will be a glorious thing for Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And then we'll say, look here, this is what happened to Rasul. There will be no glory in physical journey at a speed hundreds of thousand times that of light. You know? And sitting on a horse, as if a horse could carry with his fluttering wing and so on. They don't understand these views, unfortunately. The ulama are responsible for all this. This grand vision is the greatest vision that was ever shown to any Prophet of Allah. And herein was described the Sharia of Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which was granted to him as against others. You have to interpret these things. What is water? The source of life. But water alone cannot support us. It is essential for life, but not all that we need. Wine gives us energy. You know, when some people drink, they become very energetic and appear strong looking, but it is only false energy, because the spirit flushes the skin and the peripheries and the mind with one's own blood, and it is the burning of that blood which gives us energy. So you can't live on wine alone either. You will die after a while. Milk is a perfect diet which contains water and energy together so perfectly that on mother's milk a child nourishes and he gets everything that man is made of. His brain grows, his eyes grow in size and in quality, his nose, his skin, his hair, every part of his body, not a single part is left out, but is fully supplied with the required energy by milk. So that meant this is your Sharia. See how great the message was. So despite that, despite his rejection of water and wine, in Jannah we will have the same water and wine. So it can't be the same water and wine, you know. It should be interpreted like these things are interpreted in this vision. You understand the point?